While a logo is important and a memorable part of your brand identity, it isn't the only part, so it isn't worth getting too hung up on it. But I want to give you some tips to make it really easy to decide on that logo, to get you heading in the right direction and make a quick decision so you can get on with the rest of your branding and not get stuck hung up on trying to get that logo just right. I often see in small business Facebook groups people posting all these different logo ideas or variations, and everyone putting out their feedback and ideas, and often it's a lot of mixed messages. One person likes the first one, another person likes the second one, someone likes a bit of both, and they can end up leaving more confused than when they first started. And often these people are posting logos that designers have created for them, showing the various concepts, but they just find it really hard to pick one. So even if you're hiring a designer and they've sent you a heap of different concepts, these tips will help you to critically think and look at these concepts and work out which is best for your brand and for the direction that you want your business to go. I don't want you to end up even more confused than when you first began. I want to give you the framework to easily analyze logo ideas and work out what's going to be best for you. And so if you're working with a designer, this will also help you give effective feedback to make sure that you go in the direction that is going to be best for your business, to make sure that you're going to get the best result in the end. So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how to make that perfect logo choice for your business. Before we get into this, I'm Tabitha and I'm a graphic designer, and I love supporting creatives and small businesses with branding, design, web design and creativity so that your creativity can shine and you can attract that ideal audience. I make videos every Tuesday, so if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Okay, so before we dive right into this, what is a logo and what part does it play in your business? Because a lot of people seem to think that it plays a much bigger part than it actually does. So a logo is the mark for your branding. It's not your branding as a whole. It's simply just one element. Branding is actually about the feelings you create, what you make people feel about your business. So there's a lot of parts that make that up and create that feeling and that vibe. And the logo is just simply this mark. It's more of a reminder. It's more your stamp on it saying, that's mine. It's something that helps people identify your business and your product. And logos can change over time. While people like to keep to that sort of same logo over time, they can morph slightly and change. Think about even some of the big companies change their logo over time. If you research companies that have been around a very long time and look up their logos and how it's changed over time, you'll see that there's a general same feel about the logo, but over time it's changed a bit and, updated with the times so that it feels relevant and feels modern. So I know you probably want a logo that you're going to stick with for a long time, and that is very important, but don't get so caught up in thinking this has to be so perfect that I'll never have to change it because I'm going to be sticking with this for the next 20, 30 years. It's okay if it does change over time. So just get something that really works now, that's really solid, and it's going to last you a few years, but it's going to be okay if eventually it does have to change a bit. All right, so let's dive into the tips on choosing that perfect logo. All right, so the first thing you're going to need to do is start with a suitable mood board. It's important before you start or hand it over to a designer that you've got a clear direction for the feeling and vibe you want for your business. As you build that mood board, you want to be sure that the images evoke the kind of feeling that you want people to feel about your brand, that it suits your industry and that it suits your target market, and it suits what your business is all about. And then as you start working on that logo, you'll be able to keep referring back to the mood board and making sure that it is definitely giving that feeling that you want. So having that initial groundwork to start with will keep you on track, and you won't end up getting sidetracked by finding logos that you really like the look of or suddenly come across a font that you just love. You've always got something that you keep coming back to go, no, this is the direction we're going, and let's make sure that the logo is sticking. Now, the next big tip is to keep it simple. It can be so easy to get tempted to put just everything in your logo, to try and explain everything about your brand, about you, about what you do, and try and stuff it all into the logo. But that's just crazy. There's so many opportunities in your branding to tell different parts of your story and your message, and the logo doesn't have to say everything. In fact, the more simple it can be, often the better, because over time your business is probably going to adapt, change and grow, but you want to be able to stick with the same logo for that little bit longer and not be constantly changing it every month. So you want a logo that's pretty simple and is quite adaptable to the changes of your business as it grows and as it morphs. And also by keeping it simple, it makes it very easy to read and to recognize. You're not overcomplicating things. People can easily read the name of your business and they can easily recognize it and know that it's yours. When you think about it, some of the most iconic logos are really quite simple. So simple is always better. Our next tip is keeping it timeless. Now, as I said, it can change over time, but you want something that is generally timeless so that when you do make changes, they're not massive revamps, but they're just tweaks to try and, make it fit with the times or things that you're changing to. But you want that overall feel to always stay consistent. So you want it to be as timeless as you really can make it. And to do this, that actually means avoiding real faddy trends. Obviously, there's certain trends that are kind of timelessy trends that are going to last quite a long time, like maybe geometric shapes are in, things like that, or really clean lines. Those kind of trends are okay to go with because they're trends that are a bit more timeless in that they're going to last a long time. But trends that are a bit more fleeting, those more fads that are just more fun and everyone's doing right now, and you notice that they often get quite oversaturated because everyone starts doing them, those are the things you probably want to avoid with your logo, because not only are they fleeting, but if everyone else is doing it, then you're just going to end up drowning in a sea of everyone else doing the same thing, and you're not going to end up with a logo that's memorable and iconic and very you. Because you want something that people will instantly know is yours, and it's not just, another watercolor logo with the, hand-lettered font. You want something that's going to stand out as your own. And next is to make sure it's scalable and works on everything that you're going to be using it on. So if you're going to be going to shows and having huge posters and banners, is it going to look good when it's blown up really big? If you're using any kind of images in it that's going to be pixel based, like photos or textures, are they going to work blown up? Is that actually going to work out? Or are they going to end up looking pixely and horrible? And then also, is it going to work really small? So if there's a lot of detail in it, if that shrinks down, is that going to start becoming too hard to see because it's too detailed? You need to actually be considering that. You need to think, what am I actually going to be using this logo for? And how well is it going to work on all those different sizes and all those different uses? You might want to test drive it a bit. Is it going to work if I put it on this tiny little thing here? And is it going to work if I blew it up on this thing here? And, does it look out of place or does it look good? And if I really, really love it, but it doesn't work for one particular thing, is there a variation I can create for that particular thing? And then what does it say about your business? So as I said, you don't want it to say everything about your business, but you do want it to say something. So often that something is something that's quite important to your business. So it could be saying what your industry is. It could be saying who it's for. So it could be really all about that target market. Or it could be that feeling you want to create. So really pushing through that feeling so that people instantly feel that way about your business. So for example, if you're selling products that are really eco-friendly and green, and you make a logo that really embodies that feeling of cleanliness and eco-ness, then that is the message that logo is giving out. And it doesn't need to say every other thing about your business, because obviously there's a lot of parts to your business's story and message and the people that you're aiming at. But if you just pick that key element that you really want to express in the logo, make sure that logo is definitely saying that. So if you've got a variety of logos that you're trying to choose between, analyze each of them and think, what is this logo saying? And then what is this logo saying? And if you feel like they're all saying the same thing, which one says it best? Which one's expressing what you want to communicate in the most clear way that is, people are going to instantly get that feeling and instantly get that message that you want to get across to them. All right, next, how does your logo position you? So think about what position you want your business to be in the marketplace. So, do you want to be the high-end brand? Do you want to be the cheap and cheerful brand? Do you want to be somewhere in between? Does that logo position your brand correctly? This is really important because being the mark of your business, you want to be sure that it gives that positioning, that, if you want to be this really high-end brand, but your logo looks more fun, cheerful and cheap, then it's probably not giving the right positioning to your business. This is another area where trends and fads come into play. Often the cheaper end businesses using like using trends and fads because it's all about things that are right now, you know, getting that quick fix of the trends right now. You know, like when you go to the cheap clothing stores and you're able to very cheaply get what's in right now, and just, you know, that fast fashion, getting all the trends. So if you've got this logo that's just really, really trendy and on, you know, all with the fads that are right in right now, then you're not going to position yourself as that more traditional, higher end brand. Like, think about it in fashion again. The really high-end labels have more nice traditional kind of logos, you know, like elegant serifs, things like that. So the message of your positioning through your logo really does say a lot. All right, next, allow room to grow. So I touched a bit on this already. Over time, your business will grow, adapt, change. You might think that you have this real clear vision right now of exactly what you want to do, but you'll be surprised that over time, as you get into your business, get to know the people you're working with, that there'll be little things that you'll probably want to change along the way. Maybe you start to niche down more. Maybe you find that there's a certain thing you're offering that you don't enjoy so much and you want to change. Or maybe as you get into it, you discover that you've got slightly different passions to what you started out with, or there's something that people are finding that they're really asking from you all the time that you realize that you should just go all in on that particular thing. So when you're first starting out and you're getting that logo done, you want a logo that's going to easily adapt to those changes. So you don't want something that is just so blatantly about one thing when things may change and adapt over time. This is often where you need to be careful about using symbols or graphics. Like if you were using a picture of a book because, you know, you were selling books or secondhand books or whatever, and over time you decided that you actually wanted to branch out into something else, or you wanted to grow the business or change direction completely, then that symbol is not going to work so well for you anymore. So using symbols and things where you're making your logo very much about a particular direction works when you've been in business a long time and you feel very sure about the way you're going. Or if you're creating more of a side business where that is what that particular business is all about, but then, you know, your main business is the thing that can change a lot. But if you're just starting out, just starting from scratch, it really is best to keep it really more open-ended, because you don't want to end up in a few months' time going, oh, that's not really working anymore. I'm not actually really doing that anymore. Next, if you're going to be designing that logo yourself, or you're just trying to analyze logos that people have done for you, it's important to follow the design principles. This will help you to make sure that it's actually a good design. Now, obviously talking about the design principles is totally could be a video of its own, so I won't go into too much depth about that, but you need to be looking at things like balance and emphasis, contrast, scale, form, line, all those kind of things that make up a good design. Be sure to do your research on design principles and then review the logos that you're looking at and see how each of those logos are addressing those principles, and then if any of them need tweaking to become better designs, or whether some are just so off that you just need to scrap that idea altogether. I find often when I see people in Facebook groups posting their logo ideas that they'll be really struggling with the logo. Maybe they've just come down to that last idea, but something feels off to them. Often when something feels just a bit off, it often goes back to those design principles. Maybe something is, you know, putting the balance a bit off, something, you know, just needs to be shifted over a little bit. It can be real simple things that can make a huge difference. Next, does it work in black and white as well as colour? Now, if you're going out with a logo that has lots of colours in it, it's so important to make sure that it actually works in black and white too, because there are going to be incidences when you need to use it in just black and white. Or if someone's going to be printing something off with a black and white printer, you want your logo still to work and still be readable and still look okay. Next, and this is a trap I think a lot of people fall into when it comes to doing logos for the first time, and that's don't be a copycat. Now, you might not be copying people's logos straight out and trying to imitate an exact logo, but you might be looking at logos on Pinterest and pulling out different ideas from different people, saying, oh, I like how they did that, and I like how they did that, and you're just, you know, almost making a scrapbook logo, putting together a logo based on lots of other things that other people are doing. But by doing that, you're missing the process and the actual message that you're trying to create with your logo and your business. So you need to actually follow the design process. You know, think about what message you want to create and what your business is all about and that feeling you want to create, then making that mood board and deciding on the actual feeling you want and the mood you want to, you know, that tone you want to set. and then obviously then interpreting that into an actual logo. So if you're starting out just looking at other people's things and trying to make your logo based on that, then you're going down the wrong way. It might end up looking nice, but it's not going to be memorable and true to your business. Honestly, I've seen people who've made logos and I instantly recognize who they're copying because I'm in the design world, so I know a lot of other designers and what a lot of other people are doing in their styles. And so I can often spot it when someone's just copied straight out. It looks tacky, unoriginal, and it just devalues your business. And finally, there are always exceptions to the rules. So you might not agree with something I've said, or you might know all the rules but you just want to bend the rule just to suit what you were trying to achieve. So don't feel ever restricted, but it's always important that before you break a rule to know the rules so you know why you're doing it, and be more intentional and purposeful behind that decision. So have fun with your logos. Let me know in the comments how you are feeling about your logo. Do you love it? Do you think something needs to change? Are you really stuck making a decision? Let me know. If you want to learn more about design and branding, be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.